and welcome to Final Tips for Speakers. And I'm going to add a word there. These are final excellent tips for speakers. My name is John Brown, and I'm the Associate Director for Training and Professional Development at the Regulatory Affairs Professional Society. The purpose of this recording is to provide tips that will improve your presentation and give your audience information that will drive good regulatory practice and policy in order to advance public health. This is our first slide for the final slideshow here. It's really important at the end of your presentation to provide something powerful for your audience so that when they walk out of the room, they've got a thought that they can consider or a point that they can talk about with their colleagues as they leave, something that's going to be memorable to them. So create a powerful ending for your program. One of the things that you can do is use the phrase, "and one more thing." And this is something that Steve Jobs used to do. He would do an entire presentation, and then at the very end, when it was time to break up and leave, he would say to the audience, to all of his colleagues that worked at Apple, he would say, "one more thing." And then he would share something, an incredible thought or an incredible topic or something incredible that would stay with people as they were leaving the auditorium. They would be walking, talking, chatting, and it would continue for days afterward. This was one of his secrets that was extremely powerful and made him a master presenter. Another thing that you can do as a powerful ending for your program is to end with a story. And we're talking about a poignant story that's personal. So if you have a story that you can relate to the topic that you've been sharing for the last 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, share a personal story. And what it's going to do is it's going to be touching to the people in the audience, or it's going to be memorable in the sense that they're going to walk away with that story as the last thing that they heard from you that brings them back. It brings them back to the point that you made at the very beginning of your program so that they have restored their thought process and they're able to walk out and continue the conversation in the lobbies or in the hallways at the convention center or back in the workplace. Another thing that you can do that's really important is ask a key question at the very end of your program. One thing that people like to do is to say things like, at the end of a program is to say, what will you do? Or what will you do next? What will you decide to do? And they're actually talking about what are you going to do with the information that I provided for you today. So you can ask a question that's a key question that's really going to make them, it's going to challenge them, it's going to make them think, what am I going to do with this? And when they walk out and when they leave, they're going to walk out with something in their minds that's going to continue to work for them. Another thing that you can do as a powerful ending is to use a quote. If you have a quote that makes perfect sense, it's an inspiring quote or something that makes perfect sense that fits perfectly with your topic, put it up on a slide, put it up on the screen, and read it to the audience. Pause, and then if you want to, you can ask a question about that. And that's very powerful for people to hear something like that, to hear a quote, and then a question, and then leave the room. It's going to make them think and continue thinking and continue a conversation about your particular topic. The last thing that I have here is a powerful ending that you can do as a powerful ending is to call everyone to action. You can rally the troops and give them an inspiring goal by asking people to take some kind of action at the end of your program. If we're talking about e-cigarettes, for example, this is a topic that that there's controversy around, or medical marijuana, there's controversy around it. If you want people to go to Congress and make a request of a congressman, ask them to do that. Ask them to take action. Tell them to call their congressman and to convey information that they feel is important about your particular topic. Whatever you do, don't end with questions and answers, because that's one of the worst things that you can do for a program. You want to end on a powerful note not something that's not powerful at all. And Q&A can be interesting. It can certainly be informative, but it's not necessarily powerful and a powerful way to end a program. Go to the next slide. So here are some final tips that are really important too as far as a presenter, and your audience will appreciate you for this. Start on time and end on time. Why do I say start on time? Because you always have people that arrive a little bit early. You've got a group of people that are there and ready to start at exactly 10 o'clock when your program is scheduled to begin. And if you wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes and keep saying to them, well, we're just going to wait for the room to fill up a little bit. Well, you know what? You've just penalized them for being on time. And what I would rather see you do is to reward them for being on time and start at exactly 10 o'clock and not penalize them for being on time. The other thing you want to do is you want to reward your audience, reward everybody by ending on time. When you accept an assignment to be a speaker, it's important wherever you go. It doesn't matter if it's RAPS or somewhere else, but wherever you go, if you accept an assignment to be a speaker, you make a pledge, you make a promise to start on time and to end on time. And it's really important that you do that because there are people who need to be somewhere else at the end of your program. So if you linger for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, what you've done is you've taken time away from them, and they miss their appointments, they miss their next session, whatever the situation is. So please start on time, end on time. Next, and I've already mentioned this a couple of times already, is to be friendly. Reach out to your audience. Step down from the podium before the program begins. Walk around the room. Introduce yourself. Ask people, why are you here today? What did you come to learn? What would you like to get from this program? Why did you sign up for this program? These are all good programs, or good questions to ask people so that you have a lot of information when you step up on the podium to begin your presentation. Another thing is to encourage participation. So you want to do that by encouraging people when they speak to say, great, I really like what you just said. Is there anybody else that has something to say? That's very encouraging, and what it's going to do is prompt other people to continue the conversation and continue the engagement. Another is to provide positive feedback to people, and again, that's very much like what I just talked about. Monitoring the temperature of the room is very similar to what I've talked about in some of the other the other modules, is to keep an eye on people in the audience. If they're not paying attention to you, they're not hearing your message, and it's really important for you to make sure that you're keeping them on track and engaged, because your topic is important. They're there. They've decided to take 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes out of their day or out of their time at the conference to come and listen to you. Make it worth their while. Very important. And here's the big one. Stay away from lecture. We are really discouraging people from lecturing for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes. If you can imagine what it was like back in college to sit in a classroom and listen to someone talk, and not stop for an hour, that's really not a good way for us to convey information to people. It's very old, it's ineffective, and you already know that after 18 minutes, the interest of the audience begins to drop. So please stay away from lecture. Use lecturette and other formats, including activities, to engage your audience. Lecture will not engage your audience, and we want engagement. Just as a quick review, what we'd like you to do as a final tip, these are final tips, is to speak with confidence, make your slides appealing, and practice before you get to the conference or to your program. And for additional information about how to be a better speaker and any final tips that you might want to talk about, please call me or please write to me at jbrown@raps.org. Thank you.